Giorgia Meloni and the future of Europe. Italy pulls the emergency brake. Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, has done it. The borders are closed. The message is clear. Italy is taking its fate into its own hands. Many are now asking themselves, is this the beginning of the end of the European Union? Or is Meloni simply showing how, in the 21st century, national interest can be consistently put first? One thing is certain. With this step, Italy has shaken Europe. The EU has long resembled a cumbersome tanker heading straight for a reef. Brussels argues about paragraphs and ideologies, while the world changes at a rapid pace. And Meloni, she has decided to turn the wheel for Italy and its future. The EU, a stranded project. For a long time now, voices have been growing that see the EU as a project of the past. Economically, Europe stagnates. Politically, there is disunity. Militarily, the continent depends on the United States. While China and America are playing in an entirely different league, Brussels gets bogged down in endless debates over bureaucracy, quotas, and regulations. Meloni openly says what many have long been thinking. The European Union has lost its roots. What began as the vision of a strong community has turned into a bureaucratic monster. National independence has been sacrificed to feed centralized structures that hardly provide answers to the great challenges of our time. Italexit, a shock for Europe. The term Italexit has been circulating for years, but until now it has remained largely theoretical. Italy is a founding member of the EU and one of the largest economies in the Eurozone. Should it follow Britain's path, the consequences would be dramatic. A withdrawal would not only shake confidence in the EU, but could trigger a chain reaction. Financially, the euro would come under massive pressure, investors would flee, banks would need billions in support. Politically, the union would lose one of its key members, a signal to all who are also dissatisfied. Geopolitically, Europe would be weakened and become an even greater pawn between the US, Russia, and China. But why is Italy going this far in the first place? Reasons for the frustration: economic stagnation. For over 20 years, the Italian economy has barely grown. Unemployment remains high, especially among young people. Many talented youth emigrate because they see no opportunities. Brussels has done nothing to change this. In fact, many Italians feel cornered by the EU's rigid austerity measures and reform pressure. Political disenfranchisement. More and more citizens feel patronized by the EU. Decisions from Brussels seem far removed from reality and dictate laws that reach deep into everyday life. Whether in agriculture, migration, or financial policy, many Italians have the impression that Rome no longer decides for itself. Migration and security. As a Mediterranean country, Italy bears the main burden of migration. While other EU states look away, the boats land on Italy's shores. For Meloni, this is a symbol of the EU's failure. No solidarity, no solutions, only endless discussions. Risks and options. An Italexit would be a step full of risks. Capital flight, inflation, international isolation, all are possible. But Meloni poses the question: what is the greater risk, continuing as before, or making a clean break? There are alternatives: renegotiation. Italy could try to secure better agreements with Brussels. Partial withdrawal, exiting only the Eurozone and returning to its own currency. Reforms, remaining a member while fighting consistently for change. But Meloni signals she no longer has patience for half measures. Meloni's rise to the top. Since October 2022, Giorgia Meloni has led a coalition of 3 right-wing and conservative parties. Already during the election campaign, she promised an end to false illusions, an end to Brussels paternalism. Her policies are no empty campaign maneuver. She acts swiftly and decisively. While German politicians remain bogged down in endless debates, Meloni shows leadership. She actively seeks contact across the Atlantic, including with Donald Trump, and makes it clear Italy acts in its own interests, not in accordance with the wishes of the European Union Commission. Migration as a litmus test. Few issues have shaped Meloni as strongly as migration. Her Albania model envisions processing migrants in fast-track procedures and returning them immediately if their applications are rejected. The European Court of Human Rights criticizes this approach, but Meloni pushes back. Her message: democratically elected governments must not be blocked by supranational courts that overstep their powers. Modern problems require modern instruments, not rigid paragraphs from Brussels. Germany, a country at a standstill. While Italy acts, Germany seems paralyzed. The coalition government squabbles over trivialities. The opposition struggles with itself. Meanwhile, citizens face rising energy prices, skyrocketing rents, and a crumbling infrastructure. 1 in 3 medium-sized businesses fears for its survival. Roads crumble, schools decay, billions vanish in inefficient projects. At the same time, hundreds of millions of euros flow each year into NGOs that spread political ideologies. Meloni does things differently. She sets priorities. National interests first, without rotten compromises. AfD on the rise. It's no wonder that the AfD is climbing to record levels in German polls. According to YouGov, it now leads with 27%, ahead of the CDU-CSU for the first time. In Brandenburg, it reaches over 34%, and in Eastern Germany overall, record highs. Citizens want clear answers: security, order, borders, a stable economy. While the old parties lose themselves in symbolic politics, the AfD offers simple, concrete demands: deportation of illegal migrants, border protection, limitation of social benefits, strengthening of police and judiciary. These are issues that directly affect people and therefore resonate. Trust is fading. Only 17% of Germans still trust their federal government. Police, judiciary, and the armed forces still enjoy more trust, but even there, the numbers are falling. More and more citizens feel abandoned by politics. Meloni, however, fills this gap in Italy. She shows that politics can also function clearly, directly, and without excuses. Europe weak on foreign policy. On the international stage, Europe also appears weak. Summits between the US and Russia take place while European leaders, at best, play supporting roles. Brussels is humiliated while countries like Italy or Hungary go their own way. Meloni proves those who show a clear edge are respected. Those who only talk are ignored. A turning point for Europe. Europe stands at a crossroads. Either the Union succeeds in reforming itself and finding real solutions, or countries like Italy show the way out by going their own path. Meloni is convinced national sovereignty comes first. Her policies serve as a model for all those who are tired of paternalism, bureaucracy, and inefficient symbolic politics. Conclusion: Italy shows the way. With Giorgia Meloni, Italy has a leader who speaks plainly and acts. She protects her country, asserts national interests, and makes it clear no one needs to remain a prisoner of Brussels' dictates. Germany, meanwhile, is stuck in stagnation and division. It's no wonder that the AfD is growing and more citizens demand a politics that once again puts security, order, and responsibility at the center. The question remains, will other countries follow Italy on this path? Or will Europe collapse under its own contradictions? What do you think? Write your opinion in the comments and subscribe to our channel to never miss an analysis. Together we can shape the future.